Welcome to the Radical Responsibility Revolution podcast. This is where we are transforming lives, inspiring you to reclaim your health, your wealth, and the power of your mind. Here we share actionable insights, inviting you to turn inwards and design your life of purpose and abundance. Welcome back to another episode of Radical Responsibility Revolution, where we don't chase approval, we radiate power and let the algorithms adjust. And boy, do we need them to adjust. Today, I've got a kindred spirit whose energy could short circuit a Best Buy. Ask me how I know. I'll tell you later. Jacqueline Chalice is the creator of Embrace Your Awesome and the new deliciously provocative Intimidate project. No, not mean girl energy. I'm talking about owning your essence so fully that mediocre vibes step out. Here's the origin story. Picture this: investment banking career, check. Life looks perfect on paper, check. Then a car comes out of nowhere while she's crossing the street with her 2-year-old. Everyone survived, praise hands, but that impact cracked something open. During recovery, she got a divine download, and I love those divine downloads, stopped dimming and started embracing the whole self, her intellect, her sensuality, her brilliance, her power. And fast forward, she's helping high achieving, yes, listen up, ladies, you're often introverted. These high achieving women drop the masculine playbook, quit performing extroversion, and lead from the quiet, unstoppable center. And yes, the world sometimes calls that intimidating. Imagine that. We call it magnetic. So if you've ever been told you're a little much, a little extra, too driven, or my fave, scary, pour some tea, take a breath, and lean in. We're going to the bone today. Confidence, legacy, intimacy with self, and the audacity, yes, the audacity to be seen as you actually are. So buckle up, Buttercup. Let's roar. Let's bring on Jacqueline. Jacqueline, I'm so excited to talk to you today. And I always start my podcast by asking where you are. We'll talk about your story. Where are you today? Not in your physical location, but in your mind, in your spirit, in your soul. Tell us, who is Jacqueline today?
Oh, today Jacqueline is feeling quite spicy.
Oh, I love it.
Today's Jacqueline is feeling spicy because it is, first of all, just that opening is so hearing things about yourself reflected back is
Isn't that
just
great?
sometimes it kind of catches me off guard. It's like, holy
Yeah,
crap, yes.
that's me. Yes.
But I am definitely in a space today and as of late where I'm much more in that unapologetic space, as unapologetic about my introversion as I am about how I show up and the ways that I choose to allow people access to me or not. And that's a fun place to be, I'm discovering.
Yes, isn't it? It's so cool to own ourself. That's what that really sounds to me. Like,
Yes.
you're owning who you are. And as you said, unapologetically, when we own our own authenticity, we don't have to apologize to anybody. And how fun, because that's where the freedom is. And I do want to talk about being an introvert, because that's one of those key components that so many women, and this is what you share, is that we don't really understand what being an introvert is. And I shared with you on the pre interview that I recently just figured that out for myself. Now, most people will look at me and go, she's an extrovert. Like, I can be on stage, I'm about ready to go talk in LA, but I need that downtime, that recoup time to me. So tell us what an introvert is in your world.
So, oftentimes, just like you said, many people associate introversion with being shy or being quiet or being like socially anxious, and it's not any of those things. You can be extroverted and any one, if not all of those. Introversion is really about how you process your world. And so, Internal processors are the introverts. We're the ones, we think it through, we feel into our environment. Our brains are going 1,000 miles a minute because we're calculating and we're clocking what's happening in our world. So we're hearing what you say, we hear what you don't say, we're picking up on your body language, we're feeling how the environment changes, we're thinking about our own thoughts on that. And should we jump in or there's so much that is happening in our brain all at once. And so that's why oftentimes introverts will feel very drained when they're in not just social environments, but they're just around other
Mhm.
people because our
Yeah.
brains are picking up everything, processing it inside. And then once we reach a conclusion, then we share that. So whether that's what we say, what we do, how we show up. Extroverts are the opposite. They are talking through their thoughts. They're talking through and working through externally how they're processing their world. So extroverts may seem like the life of the party, and a lot of times they are, but that's part of how they process their world. And that can be quite frustrating for introverts because we're listening to what they're saying and we think that they mean what they're saying, but they're just thinking. They're just thinking through, and by the end of what they're saying, they've reached like the
Yep.
conclusion, but we're calculating all of the previous steps. And it's important for us to recognize that there's not a, these aren't two things that are just you're either one or the other. We're
Right.
gradients of gray. And so there's a drop of
Yes.
introversion, a drop of extroversion, and a million shades in between. And it's important to have that understanding that it's just how you process your world. You can still be nice, you can still be kind, you can still be social and be an introvert. Just as you can be shy, you can be anxious, you can be nervous around people, and an extrovert.
Right. And neither one of those is bad or wrong or right or any
Correct.
of that. That's the thing that's so clearly the way you explained it. And we are shades of gray, not in the book form. We are such complex people,
Yes.
especially women. And we do sometimes because we live in this masculine construct want to put ourselves in a box. And none of us, I love that movie, Dirty Dancing. Don't put baby in the corner. None of us want to be in a corner or a box. That's not who we
Yeah.
are as women. So I love that explanation. So you have something that you can share with the women on this call, on this podcast, that you could give to them that they could start right now looking inside of who they are. Share with us about that.
Absolutely. This is a very quick, very simple assessment for you to know your dominance frequency. And so, dominance, it's not in the matter of you're taking over something, but really it's how do you take charge of your own energy and how do you
Right.
most align in order to make the most of how you are
Mhm.
vibrating so that you're bringing
Yep.
in the right people. And also, importantly, you are repelling the wrong ones. We don't like repelling, we want everyone to love us. Everyone's not going to
Mhm.
love us, but the right ones will love us well. And so this quiz will
Mhm.
give you an insight into what your frequency is and also what you do with that information.
Yeah. That is so big. As I said, I'm writing this talk that I'm going to do at UCLA on Friday, and I'm calling it the F-bomb code because F-bomb's so popular these days. But it is your frequency code, and that's what you're talking about. So
Yes.
talk about frequency just for a minute from what you're sharing here, because this is so critical to getting what we desire, attracting people in, repelling people, but it's that frequency. So share in your words what that is for the people that you work with.
Absolutely. And it's really critical, especially within the realm of intimidatrix, which I know we'll dive into that a bit later. But really, that owning of your frequency, first knowing what it is. And we hear
Mhm.
people talk about vibes and, oh, you got to
I
feel
know.
of something. And it feels very like woo woo and like made up, but this is actually real. And if you want to test this out for yourself, like those who you who are
Mhm.
listening, if you want to test it out for yourself, pick any place, doesn't matter where the place is, needs to be other people around. Pick a
Mhm.
place and just be perfectly silent and perfectly
Mhm.
still. Don't do anything, don't say anything, don't be weird, but just be still and just watch. You can actually feel it. It feels like almost if you've ever walked through a cloud of fog and it's like
Mhm.
nothing's there, but you feel it. That's what you'll begin to feel around you because you are harnessing your energy. And you'll also, depending on how many people are there, find that inexplicably people will want to come up to you. They'll want to ask you what you're doing. They'll want to make a comment. They'll have some engagement with you. You did nothing to provoke it. You did nothing to ask for it. It's your energy. It's that frequency. And so when we talk about frequency, we're not only talking about that energy and harnessing it, but there are different ways that it expresses itself. So there are five, like just really, really high level, there are five frequencies that we talk about within the realm of intimidatrix. There's mastery, which you are the deep diver. You will learn everything about a certain topic, and there is no nuance of it that you're not aware of. You're the go-to person. And so people are drawn to you with their questions and trying to figure it out. That's your mastery, that frequency that you're drawing. There's also the mystery. And the mystery is the more mysterious, like, I can't, this je ne sais quoi. There's just something about you. I don't know enough about you, but I want to know everything about you. So you'll have people who will want to engage with their stories and have that's your mystery. That's the frequency where you're drawing people in with intrigue just by breathing. You're just breathing and they're intrigued by you. There's also transcendence. And this is one that, oh, I love this one because it's often when someone doesn't feel like they have a strong draw across any kind of space. Like, I don't know, I'm just here and all of these things are happening. You are likely a transcendent. You cut through all of it, and it's almost like a blank slate. You can so easily navigate between all frequencies that it allows you the most play. And so you can transcend and go from one to another with relative ease. There's also empowerment. And so that empowerment, when you just feel like the feel good person, like even if you're scowling and you're having a miserable day, people just being in your presence feel better. They feel better about themselves, about humanity. That's that empowerment frequency. And last is prestige. This is the one where you could be wearing a Walmart shirt and thrift store jeans, and people think like you have Scrooge McDuck money. And you're trying to explain to them, I'm not doing it's literally a shirt and some jeans. What, where are you getting all the rest of this from? It's because there is this air of like luxury and elegance and sophistication that you just naturally have, even when you think you're being schlubby, and not just in your dress, but just you're just having a casual day at the grocery store, and somehow you seem, oh, did I walk into Whole Foods? That's prestige. So these are the
Yeah.
five frequencies that we work with and point women to. And when you know your frequency, one, it allows you to, oh my God, that's why insert thing happens. But also, oh, if my frequency is mastery, then I don't need to keep trying to downplay how much I know and why I know it. I don't know how I know, I just know. So let me stop trying to downplay that and lean into it. Or I don't know why people are attracted to me. I'm just here. I'm not trying to get attention. But if this is the frequency, how do I use that to my advantage? So I am maintaining my energy for me while also serving others.
Yeah. So my experience has been as women, we make ourselves very small because we don't take on those beautiful qualities, those frequencies that you're talking about. So what just a beautiful metaphor for empowerment. This word empowerment, I think, has just been a little bit overused, women's
Yes.
empowerment, but this is truly what it is. It's stepping into your power, understanding your frequency, and those are just stunning and gorgeous. And you didn't come out fully orbed like this. You had to go through some lions, tigers, and bears and dragons. So let's talk
Absolutely.
about one of those experiences that just set you up to make this shift in your life. And I think it's the one that we said in the promo about being hit in the street. So share
Yes.
that story with our audience because I think it's so important to understand when we're listening to somebody that feels like they're just so far advanced and they've made all these strides in their life. We aren't like that just because we had to have experiences that formed that. So what was that for you?
And you mentioned it before. It was that literally being hit by a car. So
Wake up.
this was back in 2011. My son was 2 at the time, and I had a little bit over a week. It was 8 days before I had made like my silent heart pact I was going to give myself a year to leave I was on a board of directors. I was in this career. All of the things that were like check perfect on paper, I was going to walk away from that. I was giving myself a year so I could save up money, I could get my ducks in a row, leave nice and smooth. On the way home, I pick up my toddler to cross the street. We start crossing, and boom, a car hits me. I didn't realize that it was a car because it was so fast. And in that moment, my life went through these. I know in movies they show how things go in slow motion. And this is what happened while my child is clutched at my arm. This slow motion, like clicking of reality as I'm falling to the ground. And I just remember in that moment, I wasn't sure what was happening. And I knew I needed to stay like awake and focused, but I didn't know what to do with that. And fortunately, I did. My son was safe. Thank God I listened to my intuition because moments before we started crossing the street, he wanted to cross like with me holding his hand. I told him, no, I've got to pick you up because it just felt I needed to. He would have been in the grill had I not followed that intuition. That was the biggest gift of that
Mhm.
accident, trusting that inner voice, trusting that knowing that makes no sense. There's no reason why I can't let my toddler. We crossed this a million times. There's no reason why this moment is any. Thank God I did. In the recovery time of that, as I ended up having needing to have like knee surgery, I had to learn to walk again. I was out of work for quite some time on disability, and I was forced to be quiet. I was forced to sit down somewhere. I could not do any of the things I wanted to. And it was in that moment I would, as part of my physical therapy and moving around, I would go to Target. And I know Target is Target, but that was my place of therapy. And I would just walk up and down the aisles to move. And I had a divine download. I saw very quickly, embrace your awesome. What is that? And my brain was just flooded with images, with ideas, with the people, like just everything about this. I was flooded with it. And so I hobble me in my basket to sit down and write out, try to capture all of this as fast as I could. And by the end, I had pages and pages of notes, and I still have some of them, of what all of this was. It's okay, God, what do I do with this? Hey, this is brilliant. What do I do? And
Mhm.
I was led to start living this. And then as
Mhm.
I'm living and doing this, I need to tell other people about it. And that was the task. And so I did that. I have nothing but time and recuperation to do for this. And it was really, for awesome, it's an acronym. It stands for Amazing Works of Expression Serving Others with Maximum Enjoyment. And so the task for
Mhm.
me was to first recognize all of the ways that I show up in life and helping other women to do that too. We so undervalue the just the multifaceted nature that we are because we are women, and society has certain norms and certain expectations because of the meat suit that you're in. And
Mhm.
even though that's true, and a lot of times it can come with some challenges, but there's blessings even in those challenges. So me being a mother, actually there are things that are special that I can contribute that others can't. Me being Black, that's something that I can contribute. The fact that I am a woman, the fact that I'm an introvert, that I love coffee, that I have a quirky sense of humor, all of these are different expressions of light that as I own it, as I allow it to go through, people are changed and transformed. When I try to stifle that, I'm denying someone else the light that they need. So that was the first part of it. The serving others was the second part. I spent so much of my life trying to do for others to my own detriment. And I had to have that reframed. So, how do I live so that my life is service, my joy is service, my excitement? How can that be of service? Because as I'm helping other people, not to my detriment, I'm helping other people because that's what I'm here to do. It's what I love. That then creates more joy for me, but also more blessing for them. So, how do I keep it healthy? How do I keep it like clear? And the last piece was that maximum enjoyment. I had not done things just simply for joy and pleasure. I couldn't tell you in. I could not tell you, even with everything that was going so right. And so it became like really a task. Maybe my joy and delight is simply this particular coffee. There is actually a tea that used to be sold. It was elderflower and I think mulberry and herbal tea, wonderful. Me just having that every morning, that is my touch of pleasure. Me taking myself on a trip without the husband, without the child, nobody knows. I'm just going because I want to go for my pleasure and delight. So it became important for me to do that. And what I found is as I found and interwove those pieces of enjoyment, again, my joy became service. The things that I experienced, the epiphanies that I had, those were then feeding into not only serving others, but now this is yet another facet for light to shine through. This is now another way for me to expand how I'm being used to be that conduit. And so that, and everything that I do to this day,
Mm.
everything really started from a professional standpoint and a lot personal too, came from that experience. And I honestly do not think I would have had the same experience, not for myself, not for my son, not for my family, without getting hit by a car. I would have preferred not getting hit by a car. That was not fun. Don't recommend it. No, don't try to get hit by a car. You're going to have an epiphany and life's going to be great. Don't do that. Don't do that.
There is so much downloaded there. That is a lot to unpack, but I want to start by, first of all, that you made a decision. And I always say that when we make a decision, the entire universe reorganizes itself to be in our favor. So it did, and it brought a car. It's okay. As you said, we can't go out and plan that. That wasn't in the plan. But more importantly, you're in frickin' Target. And this is what I
Of
tell
all
everybody.
places. By the
Church,
vacuums.
our spiritual centers are not buildings. They could be a location, they could be the frequency, but Target, I love that. I love it because you had a spiritual transformation in a Target. I pictured the red circle and
Yeah.
everything, and you're
Yeah.
pushing the cart and writing the thing. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it because our spiritual awakenings are wherever they happen to be. So that is magical. But more importantly, the idea that you took all things that some people can use as their victimhood, all that list, and you said, these are who make me special. That is, I've been overweight some experiences in my life, and I want to hold that against myself. When the reality is, that's just the opportunity that I have to show people that I'm just like you. The fact is that we all have things that we can turn into our victim status when the reality is they are our precious jewels. I love that story so much. I am so grateful that you shared that because I don't know if who's listening that got out of a massive amount out of that. It's brilliant. And I so appreciate that. And so I want to know about when you say you rescued yourself, you did that. It looked like 2 a.m. when nobody was clapping. Share
Yeah.
about what that statement meant to you.
Yeah, that there were many of those. There are many of
Mhm.
those.
You
And
were clapping like this.
yeah. It's very much like what you were saying. There are so many things that can be used that it's not even that they could be used. It would be perfectly reasonable for you to say, I had this experience and therefore I can select out a better. Like there are all sorts of reasons why, perfectly justified. No one would fault you for saying that this, no one would fault me for saying, okay, I'm taking time to really reevaluate myself because I got hit by a car while carrying my toddler. Like, you know what? That could be a reason to say, oh, well, I wanted to do this, but now I can't do it because. So there were many moments where I had to go back really to those writings and go back to that and remind myself that even this is for my good. If all things work together for my good, that means this too. This isn't an exception.
Yeah.
It might be a crappy thing, but that doesn't negate it from being something that's for my good. So if that's true, and I believe it is, then where do I find the good? Where can I find the tiniest bit of good in this? Even if the good isn't for me, maybe the good is for someone else. And I've had experiences like that. I
Mhm.
dealt with abuse as a child, and I could not see how that could possibly be a good
Mhm.
thing. What good could come from that? But you know the good that at least for me, what I've experienced is because I went through that. There is a level of compassion, one that I have for people, but also being able to see when people are being beautiful and brilliant and also in pain. And so, because I know what that looks like, I know what it looks like to show up in perfection and be crumbling inside. And so, I can speak to that in a way that, for me, I don't know that I would have that degree of insight, of sensitivity to that sense of recognition. So even that was something that ended up working out for good. And I never would have expected anything good to come from. No one, no child should experience any of that. And yet good still came from it. And so those moments were really that. I just and I could go through like countless things. I'm divorced, and so I'm now like back in the dating world as an adult. Like the last time I was dating, I was a teen. Just what good can come from this? But oh my gosh, look at what beauty has come. Look at just being able to have space to rediscover me. And in a lot of ways, there are things that I even forgot about myself that I liked. I do remember I was an adventurous person. Oh my God, where did she go? Okay, come on, let's go play adventurous, Jacqueline. Let's go do something adventurous. Let's throw on a ball gown because it's Tuesday. You know, these sorts of things. I forgot these things about me, and it wasn't my partner's fault. This was just part of the experience. I have a new appreciation for this. So there are a lot of those moments where it would be perfectly reasonable for me to stay in my house, to be in that space where I don't want to engage with other people. I don't love schmub. Like I'm not going to do any of this. I'm just going to be in my cocoon.
Yep.
And people would think that that's perfectly fine.
Mm.
An alternative could be me throwing on some sequins. An
Yeah.
alternative could that be me taking myself out because I want to go to a nice place and I want to look nice. So how about I just do that rather than waiting for someone else? And if someone else comes along, great. But what if I just did that for me? Let's test this out.
Yeah.
Let's throw on some lipstick and go someplace. These are the sorts of things where we have to encourage ourselves in the
Yeah.
thick of it. And even when we can't see where this is going, what's the point of this? Why me? Even in the thick of that, we have to remind ourselves, even this is working out for my good.
Yeah.
So what is the
Yeah.
good? What is,
Yeah.
if this is yet another layer of expression, okay, how do I make the most of it? How can I get aligned with me so that I am showing
Hmm.
up as my best for the people who are waiting for my voice, for my face,
Right.
for my story, for my frequency? How can I do that? And the answers
Yeah.
are always strange. They're never sensical.
They are.
No,
Yeah.
for you, if they're sensical, mine are never sensical.
Nope.
What kind
I
of
don't know.
nonsense is
We'll
this?
see.
Like, okay, God.
Yeah. That's my favorite Bible quote is all things work together for good for those who love God. And then I've created that, as you said, I create a little 5 minute MP3 that says everything is working in my favor because that truly is the essence of showing up every day. Because positive thinking, people are like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be positive. And then you fake it till you make it. But the fact is that to find that good in there, that is where the juicy, delicious part is. I love the idea that you say, and it would be reasonable for me to do this. It would be fine for me to do this. Wayne Dyer wrote a book years ago called Excuses Be Gone. That really is, those are
Yeah.
excuses.
Yeah.
And so it is reasonable in polite society, but is it reasonable for my highest self? My highest self is going, get up, let's go out and enjoy life. So I love that. And especially get dressed up in a sequin dress. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing more fun than girls dressing up in costumes.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. So I think that's
My son
amazing.
mocks me mercilessly because it'll
Good.
just be an average day. He went to school and it was fine. And then he comes home and I've got gold flecks everywhere. Like, where are you
Love
even
it.
going? Like, what are you doing? I have on my crown, I have on cat ears. Who knows? But these,
Yeah.
like you said, life is too short. Life is so
Yeah.
short, it's so fleeting. And for this time that we have, while we have the ability, while we have the
Hmm.
capacity of mind and our bodies, we have the energy for it. make the
Hmm.
most of it. Even if all you can do is just those small, tiny things that are for you, trust me, as you are doing those things to honor you, to respect you,
Hmm.
to see yourself truly, it spills out into everything else. And other people are blessed because you decided to say yes to you. And we've all been recipients of that, of someone else stepping into themselves. And it's like, man, they're amazing. It's like you would have never known all of the chaos that was happening to them because they're so beautiful and full of light and they showed up. And you are
Hmm.
better for it, even if they never knew. They never knew.
They never knew. And that's not important because we know. And it is just pure joy. That is what you're describing is just pure joy. How do we show up every day and put ourselves into that space, that frequency of pure joy? Because that will just attract all of these things. So, this intimidating label, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you wrote around that, how you want to deliver that to the world. And that is the essence of who you are at this point. So, share with us what that is and how people can connect with you to really up level that for themselves, because this is an area that so many women are craving. They just don't even know what it's called at this point. So let's talk
Yes.
about that.
Oh, this has been an interesting cropping up, if you will, a revisiting. I have been told directly, indirectly, and with different language about me being intimidating. And it's like, how could I possibly be intimidating? Like, do you not hear this voice? Do you not see this face? Do you not feel this how could I be intimidating? And I was having a conversation that kind of stirred this up recently. And what the way that it was phrased to me that made sense was that it's not that I personally am intimidating, that I make people afraid. It's the
Mhm.
energy that I have, and that energy comes in before I do. And there's a weight to it. There's a
Mhm.
power to it. And that kind of power, you can just tell this person will not tolerate everything. Like this, they have like expectations. And so now you feel like you've got to step it up because this person showed up. That's what's intimidating. That energy is intimidating. And you can't help it. That's just who you are. But that changed everything for me. And a lot of this it's been very, I won't say triggering, but it's been very frustrating in relationship wise, like in dating, because I started to get to a point where I was not sharing like much about myself because what I found is, oh, what do you do for work? I do this, and I do this other thing, and this other thing. And oh my God, you do so much stuff. I don't know. It's like I'm still the person who just tripped over her own feet, who just tripped over air. I'm that exact same person. And
Mhm.
also, I wrote these books, I did this, did that. And so, this notion of intimidation, it's been a curious one because a lot of the women that I've worked with before and that I'm working with now, they've had this same thing. Even in
Yep.
childhood, they were like the kid that's like, why are you doing so many things? Like, why are you doing,
Yeah.
you don't have to do all the things. You don't have to get all the awards. You don't have to have, you can just do one or two, and you should be happy with that. Like, you have this one thing, like, just focus on this one thing. But that's not who they are, and that's not who they're meant to show up as. They are all of it. They are team too much. They're too intelligent, they're too kind, they're too direct, they're too ambitious, they're too all of the things that people want in one package. And it has taken work for me to own that about myself. And so Intimidatrix really came from that space of what if I just honored who I am and I created space for other women who are going through that? Because many of these women, they've had a similar trajectory where they've checked off all of the things that everyone like strives for. They've lived several lifetimes of accomplishments in their life. And now they're at a point where it's, you know what? I did all of these things. That's great. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Where am I? Like, where's me? And how much of me did I leave along the path while I was doing these amazing things? I was serving, I was showing up, I was creating, pouring to other people, and pieces of me were left bit by bit. How do I reclaim that? How do I even remember where? I don't even remember where I left those parts of me. And so
Yeah.
Intimidatrix is the space for these women who recognize that and who are in that season of reclamation where they're done
Yeah.
apologizing for being team too much. They are owning that with pride. And also, as they're bringing in these pieces of themselves that they've lost along the way, they're not creating it to be someone different or to be like this new thing. They are actually being who they were always the whole time. It's not about, I understand the sentiment of like new year, new you, but I hate it so much because it's not, the calendar changing doesn't change who you are. And even as you are evolving and expanding, you're still you. You're just becoming more of the you that you always were. You're taking off the layers of foolishness that you brought onto yourself, that other people tried to put on you, that society has put on you. You're shedding those layers. And Intimidatrix is creating that space for those women to experience that, to know they're not the only one. Like, you're not going crazy. You're not nuts.
Mm.
You're not the lone one. There's more than just you. And the beauty is, and I can, as the guinea pig, I can say this with confidence. The beauty is the more that you allow those layers to fall away, even when it's painful, even when it's agitating, how amazing it is to just, this was me the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
I forgot this was me. I didn't even know that this was me because I had on
Yeah.
all of these other layers. Oh my gosh, that epiphany and the feeling of that, oh, it's delicious.
It is. It's so delicious. I am telling you, that is my new favorite term, team too much.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of us on that team, and I'm feeling so congruent with what you're saying, because trust me when I say I've had that feeling where people feel intimidated before I even open my mouth, and it is an energy frequency.
Mhm.
And so, ladies, we have to own that, not push it away, not trying to dim down. And when you talk about reclamation, it really is so important because we leave these pieces. It's like Hansel and Gretel. We've left the trail behind us, but we can then find our way back because we've left the breadcrumbs. So it really is so
Absolutely.
important to go and look at them and then reactivate them,
Yes.
because we have created these layers. I love this, layers of foolishness. That is
Yeah.
brilliant, because that is literally, we are foolish when we do the things we do to hold ourselves down and dim our light. So you wrote about it though. You created a book, yeah?
Yes,
So tell us
there's a
about
whole
the book.
system for Intimidatrix. The book will be out next year in 2026, but the community
Okay.
is underway now, and all of that will be available. We'll have it in the show notes for
The show notes.
intimidatrix.com, but
Yeah.
everything will be there for you not only to know what your frequency is, because that's the starting point. Like, what are you
Yeah.
working with? Like,
Exactly.
who are you?
Mhm.
And from there, building out with a community of
Mhm.
like, not like-minded people, because I, that's another term I hate, but it's more a sisterhood of experience. That's more what,
Yes.
having these other women who know what it's like to be the lone
Yeah.
person trying to explain to someone else why this perfect life is absolute garbage, and they're looking at you
Yeah.
like you're an alien, is they don't
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah.
Being in a community of women who understand that and who build from it, don't use it to diminish you
Mhm.
or themselves, it's a beautiful
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah. So what do you envision that looking like on a, if I said, okay, so what's your vision, your dream vision, your blue sky vision for this? What does that look like for you?
I mean, ultimately, Intimidatrix is going to be really that. I don't want to say it's going to be the household name, but it's going to be the well-known feeling. It's going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what's happening. It's one of those Intimidatrix moments where people are
Mhm.
intimidated, own my stuff, they recalibrate. Actually, our tagline, it's reminiscent of what you mentioned. She doesn't command attention, she recalibrates gravity. And that's what we do. We stand in who we are and allow everything else to shift as need be. And that is, that sentiment is what I want to be ubiquitous.
Yep.
I truly do. In these early
Yep.
stages, it's really about getting the word out and having these women to have these experiences. Because again, there are so many, there are a million ones. Like, I'm the only
Mhm.
one, and you're not, but you're not. That's the beauty. That's the beauty,
Mhm.
and sometimes the challenge. You are not the only one. who has
Yeah.
experienced this, but because you're not the only one and you see that there are other ones in that same boat, look at the beauty that we can
Hmm.
create and co-create. This is Intimidatrix is also going to be a space for collaboration, and that's a huge thing. And most of the women that are already being drawn into this community, they're wanting to partner with other women for a myriad of things. And so this is not a competitive space where, oh, I've got to get
Hmm.
mine, you don't. We're beyond all of that. We've all
Yes.
done our thing and we know what that
Hmm.
looks like. We're in a space now where it's like, by owning who I am, allows not only for me to shine, but it allows my shine to shine on you. You get to shine brighter, and I get to shine brighter because you're in
Yeah.
yours. And
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I know that's going to be in the zeitgeist,
yeah,
intimidatrix. And
yeah.
as you're talking, I think there's so many women that have gone before us that fit into that category. And the one that just kept coming up for me, I don't know why, I just listened to my intuition, was Barbara Streisand. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
Barbara Streisand when she directed Fiddler on a Roof. And she got so much, she played a little boy in that movie, which is, I'm thinking about that's weird. But she was given so much flack for being intimidating, for being over. She just was standing in her space. And so she was, if she had the words for it, she was an intimidatrix. I love that
Absolutely.
word so much. And I know that is going to be, the kids come up with all of their slang,
Yeah.
Riz and 67 or whatever the hell they're saying these days.
I love doing that to my son just because it gets under his skin. He's 16. Oh God, mom. I love it.
So the universe was conspiring just then because I was declaring that it was going to be one of those words that everybody is using. So I declare it. I'm in the magical manifester, Queen of Magic.
Speak
Legacy
that
starts.
from your mouth to God's ear.
That's right. So legacy starts with self. That really truly is it. So let's talk about that. What is legacy starting with self? What can you share with these beautiful listeners about that idea?
And it is such a multifaceted space. But the essence of it is the more that you see, hear, and respect yourself, the more you cultivate that in others. And that has the ripple effect to change generations long after you're
Mm.
gone. And even with conversations that you have with yourself and with others, you have the power. And especially for these women who are these intimidatrix, they don't recognize the power of their words. They don't recognize the power of their presence. And so there is such richness that comes from you
Mm.
being you. That is, it is such a potent thing. And so that's what really legacy starts with self for me is all about. How are you showing up for yourself? Because if you are treating yourself subpar, you can't have
Mhm.
the expectations that others treat you better because they see and
Right.
feel how you treat yourself. By the
Right.
same token, if you are treating yourself with a level of respect and dignity, you are allowing yourself to hear not just what you're saying that's negative, but those that still small voice that says, you got this. This is the direction to go. I know it looks crazy. Go that direction anyway. When you are allowing yourself to have that sensitivity and that honor that your word is trustworthy to you, you're not going to accept other people giving you their subpar word. There is a
Yep.
different level of expectation that you will operate in. And especially not just as parents, but just as people who are being entrusted with other people, it's important that we do this for ourselves first. We're putting our mask on first. We are
Mhm.
seeing ourselves first. We are hearing and respecting ourselves first, like truly, like the essence of who we are, not just in a, I'm dignified. You can be dignified and really bad to yourself. How are we doing that for us? And for me, it looks like a few different things. The whole reason why I started my company was because of me wanting to set that legacy for my son. When I found out I was pregnant, which I didn't know until the fourth month that I was even pregnant. So the first
Wow.
trimester I completely missed. So when I realized, oh, this isn't gas, this is a baby. That's a miracle baby too.
Mm.
What I did not want. I did not want to be in a space where I told him he could be anything and he can do whatever, and I wasn't doing that. And so it started with
Mm.
me. The whole reason why this company and the thousands of people have been helped on 6 continents is because I wanted to be the right example for my son. I wanted to walk my talk. And so that's for me, that's where that legacy comes from. I didn't even start it to honor myself. I started it because
Hmm.
I didn't want to be a do as I say, not as I do. But then
Yeah.
as I begin to lay the foundation for that, begin to work that out, other people benefited. And it's my son is like preparing for college now and just a gorgeous being. It is so beautiful to see the ways that he shows up in his world and how other people speak of him. Like he's not even there. They don't know I'm his mom. They're just like, this kid is great. Oh yeah, that I'm his mom. These type of ripple effects are just, we
Mm-hmm.
won't know what they are. We won't have any concept of them until we begin walking the journey. And so, as we begin taking those steps, whether it's a baby step, if it's a crawl, if you're dragging your legs or you're leaping over buildings, as you are making that progress, that is when you begin to lay the foundation and be that rock that creates the ripples that go out generations after. It is something that is not lost on me. The people that
Yeah.
I have helped, the women that I have helped, but more importantly, the families that have been changed, the businesses that have
Hmm.
been changed, the ways that people are experiencing themselves and their surroundings in more profound and deep ways, like that is not lost on me. And that's all part of my legacy.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love the word generational because we are our past generations' dreams. And
Absolutely.
we are creating the dreams for those generations by those very things that you're talking about. And it isn't just about doing those things, it's about being them. And that's what I hear is the beingness of
Yeah.
who you are. That's a feminine frequency. And it really is so clear to me that it's also the intention. Like your intention is to be of service. We get so caught up, especially in business. I've been teaching business for so many years, but from the masculine perspective, like competition, know your numbers, make this many calls. We've got to make the money. We got to do the bottom line. And I'm an abundance teacher. So, of course, we want to talk about the bottom line, but it's the intention. So,
Yeah.
talk about your frequency, your intention, the underlying energy that's coming from there.
I mean, really, it's the embrace your awesome. That's at the core of everything that
Mhm.
I do. And I would say like that would be the roots of the tree is embrace your awesome. The mycelium that's between the roots and that's nourishing them is being a good
Mhm.
steward of what God has entrusted me with. I want
Yeah.
to be a good steward. And that more than anything is the intention. So how do I make the most of who you've entrusted to me, what opportunities you've entrusted me with, even what challenges you've entrusted me with. It's
Yeah.
very easy to overlook kind of the challenges or certain things that we don't like and that don't resonate with us as okay, I rebuke that. I turn away from it. I cast that out. Like and I get it. There is certainly space for that. And also, in the midst of doing that, also recognize that there's a gift in that as well. And so, how do you, the fact that you are someone who can be entrusted with that challenge, because everybody
Mhm.
can't be trusted with it. Not everybody is
Yeah.
going to. Some people will take the good or the bad. It's, oh, it's all me, or oh, it went terrible. It's all your fault. Not everyone can be trusted to be accountable, to be coachable, learn from that and then use that to be a benefit to themselves and others. Everyone doesn't do that. And so if you have those moments, whether they're the heights or the lows, you've been entrusted with it. And so for
Yeah.
me, that's like the mycelium is being a good,
Mm.
but the base of it is embrace your awesome.
Yeah, I love that. As an abundance teacher, I love the word that you're using, entrusting us with it. I had an abundance teacher a million years ago. Her name was Edwina Gaines, and she was talking about giving tithing. And people would say they're poor, they're broke, whatever. I don't have any money to give. And she said, honey, if God can't trust you with the little bit that you need to give right now, how do you think God's going to trust you in the long run with the bigger money that you say you want? And I love that because as you're speaking, I'm hearing that voice of we are entrusted with so much. And the more we be that good steward, because that is the caveat to being entrusted. You're entrusted with everything, with the good, the bad, the ugly, if that's what you want to claim it as. And then how do you become a steward of those things? This whole conversation has just really been so brilliant. And I hope everybody listens to it again and again and again, because that really is, you have just embraced all of it. That's what I teach. That's what I love. That is the essence. We cannot just compartmentalize and say, this part I don't like. We live in a world of duality. And your life is just such a beautiful, beautiful example of how this shows up. And look at, I'm excited to see where you are in a year from now, 2 years from now, because I predict, and I'm really good at this, it's going to be, as I said, that word, that intimidatrix is going to be on the lips of women across the globe. And I am here as a witness that you showed up here and shared this with us, because ladies, watch out. This thing is about to happen in a big, big way. And I'm so blessed. And so I'll put all of your information in the show notes of how to get a hold of you. But what I would like for you to do is share with us right now. You are at the end of your life and you've lived this amazing life. You've achieved, accomplished all of your dreams, all of your desires, and you're looking back. What is one thing that your future self has downloaded now that you can give to women from all time backwards and forwards? What is the most juicy thing that your inner wisdom could share with us in this moment?
Mm. I think it would be that you are needed,
Mm,
like just plain and simply. I think I know for me, I have had a lot of question around that and not need like for what you can do, but for who you are, like your existence. Like the fact that you exist is a blessing. And it's not just a blessing because you exist for yourself, but your specific light is needed. Yeah.
mhm. That is so absolutely true and a universal truth. And I hope that it is resonating in the hearts of women across the globe every single time that they hear your voice, because it is beautiful. And I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful that you had time to take out of your day and share with us today. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Yes, this has been just such a joy. Like we could go on for hours.
I know. Well, that's why I'm going to ask you to come back, because I think, I know, what's his name? Oh God, the guy with the podcast. He does 3-hour podcasts. So at
Oh
some
yeah.
level, I'll just share my little vision is to move to Nashville and to have a studio where they do music, but to give podcasts to have these brilliant
Oh,
conversations. So look forward to that. It should be happening in 2026, and then we'll fly you
oh,
in and we'll have a really in-depth chat, because by that
that
point
sounds
it's going to be on the
amazing. I
lips of
haven't
all
been
the
to
women.
Nashville in a minute, so yeah.
There you go.
Add that to my travel list.
Well, thank you again so much, and we will see you the next time.
Thanks so much.